Hey, so we're going to talk a little bit about the standards research assignment. And first, I'll show you how to get there. If you look on the content page under Learning Activities for the semester, Learning Activity 1, there is some reading and background. So once you click on that option, you see a link to the Georgia Standards of Excellence. And this is something that should be familiar because we've gone over this in class already. So this is, most of you, all of you are in the K-5 grade band. Depending on the grade level that you're in right now, that's what you're going to choose for your standard. So, for example, maybe we're grade 4. I'm just going to do a quick rundown here. So grade 4, these are all of the standards. These are some information on how to teach them. But these are the standards for grade 4. Information at the top. And as I scroll down, you're going to start to see Earth and Space Science. These are your standards. A, B, C, and D are your substandards. So that's going to be familiar terminology when you go and look back at this assignment. Okay, so looking back at Course 10, you can sign up for your standards. So if I click on this link right here, it's going to bring up a spreadsheet. And if you notice down at the bottom of the spreadsheet, maybe move this around a little bit for you so that we can see it. All right, there we go. So at the bottom of the spreadsheet, you have different tabs. Make sure that you click on the tab that is your class. There's 4262, and then there's dual cert. I have another one here that is previous semesters, and that's just good examples. However, you'll notice at the top here, you have a link to how they address this particular standard. This is what I want you to do when you write up your information. You will actually link it in the table. But first, you need to put your name in the standard and substandard that you're going to select. If you notice, this student didn't give me a substandard. She had a small enough class, she didn't need to do that. But you need to make sure you give the substandard just like this person did. Make sure that no one else is doing the same standard that you are. So spend some time looking at what is expected in the Georgia standards and which one is interesting to you. And make sure you choose one that works best for what you want to do. All right, so I have signed up for the standard, and now I want to go back and I want to look at what is expected for this assignment. This is the information for the standards research. Okay, so we open up this Word document, and the link to that spreadsheet is here again, but it gives through information on what you need to do for this. So provide the exact wording. I would just suggest copy and pasting just copy and paste it into the sign-up sheet. All right, so what we're looking for is what is it that the student needs to understand? What are they supposed to learn from this standard? Some of these are written in ways that are multiple concepts, and they're not always the most user-friendly. So figure out what it is that standard is asking of you, and tell me what you think the student is supposed to know. And then based on the area that you teach, the standard that you're covering, you're going to tell me what does the teacher need to know to do this? What content, what is the basic background that a teacher would need to know to be successful in teaching this? So if we look at this particular example right here, you have a specific standard. She has 2 substandards. She may have only done one of those. So she dives into the goal of the standard. What is it trying to help the students understand? This is not super user-friendly in terms of the wording, but it is addressed. So then students need to be comfortable using these particular words. And as you keep going down, there's information on the main things that the student needs to understand. Fossils are evidence of organisms that lived long ago. Depending on the standard you choose, that's how you're going to put the information in there. And then we come back to what does the teacher need to know? And this is very broad. You can be as specific as you want. Keep in mind, this is something that you need to be able to use. Okay. As I come back here, same information. These are the expectations. So did you identify the standard? Did you include everything and did you sign up for it? What does the student need to know? What is the content? Did you fully address the standard and say, okay, if they're expected to know fossils, first of all, what is a fossil? And how can you help that student understand that? I don't need activities. What I need is the content. So then specific details, and make sure you're very thorough in that description. So there's a student component, and then there's the teacher component. And the teacher component is broken up into two sections. Content. What does the teacher need to know and to be successful in this? And how are they going to share that information? Write a little bit of a narrative. So the teacher needs to know this, and this is how they're going to find that, so forth and so on. Include some additional resources. Think about videos. YouTube has some great things that help you better understand content. So think about adding in a YouTube video. If you do that, include the title of the video and the link, because we know that things change all the time. And then an additional web resource link. I'll show you, I'll go back to this in just a second and show you. So she included a YouTube video, a couple of different YouTube videos, but she even went further and gave instructional ideas. That's great. That's not expected, but it's great if you do that. It just means you're that much more prepared. We have diagrams of showing how these things are formed. So depending upon the content standards you choose, there's a lot of information that you can share. Make sure you include references. That's a pretty important thing to share. Let's look at this other student and see what they did. So a lot of details about what they think the student's supposed to know. Not quite as long as the last one. So we go through explanation of terminology. Again, images of what that looks like, and then specific examples that you could share with your students. All right, so this is the outline of what you need to know. This is the rubric for how you're going to be graded. If you have trouble seeing this in this particular document, you can go to the rubric section of CourseDen, and it's titled Standards Research Rubric. This whole thing is worth 10 points. It's not a lot, but it's a decent amount of work for you to understand the science content standards. And that's really the goal of this whole assignment. So once you have signed up and you've done all of these individual pieces, we'll go back to where it has standards research. And okay, so back to the readings page. Here is where you're going to turn in the assignment. You can turn it in here. Typically, I will be grading it in this spreadsheet. So your name's over here, your link is here. I will just go automatically to this and click on your name and read it and give you the grade in CourseDen. But you can also upload your files here. So hopefully this helps clear up a few things on how to do the standards research assignment. We'll talk about it some in class, but probably not as detailed as you're going to get here. And I look forward to seeing you.